All right, so Auburn is going bowling after not being in a bowl game since 2021. They became bowl eligible against Arkansas this past weekend with a 48-10 win over the Razorbacks, and the Razorbacks seems to be in shambles. And Sam Pittman, you look at the social media outlets where they're talking about the possibility of looking for a replacement for Sam Pittman for a program that has, Sam Pittman kind of got him into respectability. But now, after looking at the footage of the Auburn versus Arkansas game, it just seems like a dejected program once again, and especially as Arkansas and Auburn and all the SEC teams get ready for the onboarding of Oklahoma and Texas. You got to come with your A game. Not saying that Oklahoma and Texas are just these blue blood programs, but they do bring another element to compete with recruiting and to compete and establish some new rivalries in the SEC. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speak Sports Auburn as we talk about Auburn versus New Mexico State. Now, Auburn has a winning streak of their own coming into this game. 3-game winning streak, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas. But New Mexico State has aspirations of their own as they have been very competitive, winning 6 straight since that loss to Hawaii. And, this team is actually pretty decent. A couple of games, they found themselves behind the 8 ball, a couple of scores against a few teams, and they were able to come back, especially Western Kentucky last week, where they found themselves down and they've battled back. And, this could be a interesting football game for the Auburn Tigers. Now, New Mexico State comes to Jordan-Hare Stadium with 2 years under Jerry Killer, who has led the Aggies to 2 bowl games. One of those bowl games will be this year. Beating Auburn will put them, from a value standpoint, in a huge situation to where a very valuable bowl game could be plausible. There is a situation in New Mexico State, however, where the quarterback, Pavia, may not be available. You talk about a lot of production, 2,200 and something yards, adding another 703 rushing yards and 5 rushing scores. His absence will definitely be felt. A good component of Pavia as a quarterback, he's very good at the zone read. I think Auburn will be able to prepare very well for this because, hell, they run the zone read as well, the RPO. And I think Pavia does a great job at New Mexico State in creating imbalance with the offense. They got a lot of speed on the edge. They hit the corners very well, and they're able to score some points. You talk about Auburn with the 3-game SEC winning streak. They look to do a little bit more, even with the win over New Mexico State, with Alabama coming into town. And the Jordan-Hare Magic with Alabama, a lot of things can happen. Auburn has had a lot of time to prepare for that Alabama game. You look at even Brian Harson's tenure, to where Auburn probably should have won that game. I think Auburn should have won that game in 2021. There's a huge possibility Auburn wins that game, and Brian Harsin might even still have a job there, probably on his way out this year. But, you beat Alabama, a lot of wrongs can be righted. Now, Auburn definitely needed that win over Arkansas because I think from a pride standpoint, Auburn didn't want the New Mexico State game to be the win that gets them to bowl eligibility, because you talk about the chance of being 6-6 in the season, because albeit Alabama is the better team, will be picked probably to win over Auburn. 12 touchdowns. I think the over-under, I'm going to go ahead and pick the over-under. Probably about 50 points. 50, I'd even say 60 in that game. I think Alabama and Auburn will try to match some points, and some folks will probably say that, you know, Alabama will win that game like 45-24 or something like that. But that's just an early prediction in this game. That's not even my prediction, but that's just my prediction based on what the average sports analyst will say. But who knows? As we look at the Auburn Tigers, who are trying to close this thing out on a winning note, they've done some great things with the recruitment of Jamonte Waller out of Picayune, Mississippi. 5-star in some books, 4-star for most. A big edge rusher that Auburn has acquired in this class. Huge game for Auburn this week. Jerquez Hunter, Auburn running back, chasing 1,000 yards. Might get it this game. He's got about 730. Between this game and the Alabama game, I think he will be the next 1,000-yard rusher for the Auburn Tigers. Jalen McLeod as the edge rusher, probably one of the best around, will continue to wreak havoc for the Auburn Tigers in this New Mexico State game. And Peyton Thorne has been phenomenal in the last few weeks. And I say that even though some may think, well, not necessarily phenomenal, but he has been phenomenal considering where he started. So, with New Mexico State coming to town, a 4 o'clock kickoff Eastern Time, 3 o'clock Central, where I think this game will go is prediction time. I think Auburn has too much. I think Auburn has too much talent. I think Auburn is too big up front on both sides of the football field. They're hungry. You look at it, a 48-14 win for Auburn. I think you guys need to subscribe to my channel. I think you also need to become a member. This is a great channel that we got going on over here. We talk about Auburn football ad nauseum. Like the video, comment, and subscribe. Auburn 48, New Mexico State 14. War damn Eagle.